Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Ark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up, Micro Machine Man?
Not much. I'm an auctioneer, but yeah, Micro Machine Man. That's a good one too.
Well, he is like an auctioneer.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a good week here. At the show, it is May 9th, 1997.
Sure is.
How are you?
I'm good and just trying to get over everything that we witnessed. How are you?
Trying to get over it all, huh?
Right?
I'm trying to get under it.
That's later, hon.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, it was a hell of an episode. It's the last episode of season 5, I believe.
2 full hours.
P.S. I love you.
So much went down. For some reason, though, most of this episode takes place in the desert. It's kind of weird.
In the middle of the desert. They discover the pile of women that Brandon stored.
Right? But for some reason, the Keghouse brothers...
The Keghouse brothers
are all together on a trip, and Steve's dad provided them a house to stay in.
Do you think that when the Keg brothers all go on a trip, they have one Keg brother that stays in an undisclosed location as a designated survivor in case the Keg brothers are assassinated?
Maybe.
Because if not, I mean, you could take out the entire Keg fraternity.
You could, but you know what? You could do that every day. Because they're all together all the time.
If a bomb blew up at that Keg house, the world would lose a bomb.
Right. So I'm a little unclear.
Yes.
About the background of this story because it's like,
because you weren't paying attention.
No, I was paying attention, but it was confusing. Like, okay, Donna's mom was doing something. Donna was doing something. Mm-hmm. And the Keg brothers were seeing some politician talk, but it also...
Some politician?
But it also seemed...
Sonny Bono.
Right.
Don't you know?
But it also seemed like it was all together.
Uh-huh.
And, like, they were all staying at the Keg house. Not Donna's mom and, you know, Steve's dad might have been. But I'm just saying, like, all these people...
Controversy, huh?
All these people who weren't even part of it were there.
The Keg brothers are passing around Donna's mom, I guess.
Guess so.
She's not staying at the same house.
No, like I said, she's not. But I'm just saying, it's not just Keg brothers at this house.
They're all staying. Okay, I will clarify it for you.
Please.
I will provide some clarity in the situation. Donna is an alpha something. I don't remember what, but that's the sorority she belongs to.
Okay.
So the Keg brothers are there. Their sister sorority or whatever, their affiliated sorority, the Alpha House or whatever, is also there. They are having a shared event. They're both at the same resort.
Okay.
They rented a house, a cabana or whatever, on this resort for the Keg brothers. Presumably the Alphas have their own place. We didn't see it.
Yeah. That's weird. Well, the place was probably where Donna and Valerie both seem to be.
Yeah.
It's like a hotel.
Yeah, so Brandon's invited. Apparently Valerie's invited too?
Yeah, why was Valerie even there? She's not in a fraternity or a sorority.
No. She sticks her nose up at all that stuff, but she tagged along with Brandon, and I guess it's just fine.
Yeah.
So.
And Brandon was just tagging along too, though.
Well, Steve wanted him there.
Yeah.
Steve's like, you're going to fucking come here.
Well, it was probably better because they're selling the Walsh house and, like, the place was just crawling with realtors the whole weekend.
Just want to strike that set? I mean, I don't understand.
Maybe.
They could easily just say, we're leaving, but, you know, you can stay in the house.
Stay here. Yeah, that would have been an easier choice.
But instead, they're fucking selling it right out from under them.
But that makes more sense. I mean, that's what would really happen.
Find your own way in the world, Brandon.
We're moving to another country.
Just like your sister. She never bothers us.
Right.
She never comes up anymore.
That's so weird.
But yeah, they don't even call her on the phone or whatever to tell them, hey, tell her we're moving to Hong Kong, honey.
Right?
What if she came to visit?
She'd be SOL.
She has no clue what's going on. But anyway, so yeah, that's the situation. There's a joint event going on. She's giving, I almost said Tori Spelling, but Donna is giving a big speech.
And her mom is too.
Yes, her mom's also giving a speech about family, and
she's probably a alumni. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, she's a former sorority girl too.
That makes sense. So, okay, and so Brandon didn't want to go on this trip that Steve invited him on because A, he thought he should be there for the selling of the house, and B, he's, sad and heartbroken about Kelly.
Correct. He just wants to mope.
Yeah, which, he deserves to.
Yeah, sure.
But he decides to go eventually.
Yeah.
And Valerie, did she go with him? I thought they went separate.
No, she said if you want company out to the desert, and then she says, we can drive.
Oh yeah, I'll let you drive my car.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she has the cool car.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Corvette, Trans Am, I don't know.
Some kind of cool car, though. So they drive out there, and then Kelly is also going out there because she's also in the sorority.
Well, she was. I think she dropped out
of
the sorority when she was in that cult. So I think she's just a guest at this point.
You know what I just thought about, though? Like, why doesn't Donna live at the sorority like Steve lives at the sorority?
I don't know. I mean,
or the fraternity.
Claire and David are also there, and they are also not in the fraternity. They're just coming as guests.
Weird.
Apparently, anyone can just be here.
Apparently.
And Donna invites Ray.
Yeah, Donna drags Ray. That's so stupid. Like, I don't understand why they want to be together. They have nothing in common.
My favorite part of this episode was when they show, this is getting off the track a little bit, but when they show Ray for the first time with his mom, and he's practicing a song on a guitar. We never get to see him sing. Mm-hmm. It's so funny because he says he's writing a love song for Donna, and his mom's like, well, I think it'll just work, because of how romantic she is. And then we cut. It's like a comedy cut. We cut to him ostensibly having just played the song, and Donna going, that's a very nice song, Ray. It's like they're trying to hide him.
Right.
Like his singing must be so bad.
It's hilarious.
But it was like a comedy scene. But anyway, my favorite part is when he's talking to his mom, and he's like, Dad used to, beat you up pretty good, didn't he? And she was like, yeah. He's like, hey, just asking for a friend. How did he get away with that?
Basically.
Why didn't he go to jail? And he's like, he gets his notebook out.
Wait, why didn't you ever press charges?
And she's like, oh, well, he said he loved me and all this stuff. And he's like, okay. And he's like, okay, so this is now I know how to get away with it with Donna.
Yeah, basically. So, and then Kelly decides she's going to go the day after everybody else goes.
Right, because she's got some experimenting to do.
I don't think that was her intention at any point. Like,
no.
I mean, I think everybody else, including that chick, thought that, though. But, yeah, she picks...
Everyone watching was hoping.
Yeah. She picks up that burn victim chick from the hospital. Which, like, does she not have any friends or any family? Why is Kelly, who's practically a stranger, picking her up?
She was dating that one girl. She broke up with her. And I guess that's it.
It's so weird.
That's the rest of her family, ironically, died in a blizzard. Yeah, opposite of fire.
So then she apparently this lady is the one who set this up, but set up a romantic candlelit dinner. Mm-hmm. And Kelly is apparently the one serving the food because she's like, I didn't know creme brulee was whatever.
Right.
Like, didn't you make it though, Kelly?
Main course was fish, which seems like, kind of a mixed signals.
But I mean, they were just being weird and stupid the whole time.
Yeah.
So Claire
Snapper.
And Claire and David come up to just get the rest of their bags or whatever, and Kelly thinks they're already gone. Mm. And they're just watching them through the window like psychopaths.
Claire is. Well, because Donna had said, or not Donna, Kelly had said, I'll be up a day later because I've got some personal business to attend to. And they're like, oh, what's that? And she's like, yeah, it's my own private business. I'm not telling you. So it's a big secret. Mm-hmm. So then Claire sees through the window she's having dinner with this girl, and she's like, oh, there's the big secret. David's like, oh my God, she's going to fuck her.
And like,
That's why it's a secret.
and like when they come in, they're like leering practically. It's like,
sorry to interrupt your date. I mean, dinner.
yeah, it's weird. So now they have the knowledge that Kelly was having dinner with this chick and that it was a big secret. Mm-hmm. So Brandon is at this thing and he is doing the thing that Brandon should never do.
Right.
And getting drunk.
Yes, he is.
And so then...
What's his name? Muntz?
Yeah.
He's got like double holsters. One has margaritas. The other has slow gin fizzes for some...
Right.
You know, like every college kid loves to drink slow gin fizzes.
It's so weird.
Every college kid has the same taste as a advertising executive from 1953.
But yeah, so Brandon decides he's going to get fish-snookered. And Claire and David show up and tell him...
Yeah, he's like, David, what are you hiding, David? And David's like, well, I mean, maybe Kelly's a lesbian now.
So then he gets fish-snickered part 2.
Yeah, and well, he comes to it's funny, too, because he comes into the pool. They're having, like, water volleyball that they're playing. Mm-hmm. And he comes into the pool and he's like, oh, yeah, buddy. Like, he what's it called? He cannonballs in his clothes. At Steve, and Steve's like, hey, we're about to win here, and he's like who gives a fuck about winning, and starts splashing him, and then Steve proceeds to try to drown him.
Yeah, he's just picking him up and dunking him over and over and over.
It's hilarious, but like also concerning at one point.
It goes on too long.
It really, like, I was thinking the episode has time for this. It's like a full 2 minutes.
There are a few things that drag in this episode that it seems like they were just trying to do filler. Like the beginning, just watching Steve driving down the road for like 5 minutes.
So long.
For the credits, like, yeah, I mean, I literally had time to notice that he's changing his baseball cap from being on correctly to backward.
Yeah, to be cool, extra cool.
Right.
But yeah, he's just checking out girls. At one point you go, yeah, we get it, he's horny.
Yeah. I mean, the whole time he's just like, oh, ouch, oh, look at that.
All these
like,
girls.
oh my God,
we're
Steve.
in Palm Springs.
Shut up. Is Palm Springs in the desert?
Yeah.
Why is it Palm Springs? Like, I mean, the desert is supposed to be without the water, right?
Yeah, there's no water out there.
So why do they call it Palm Springs?
I don't know. There's palm trees out there?
They're liars.
It's an oasis inside the desert.
I see.
But yeah, there's a vibrant community in Palm Springs, but it is surrounded by the desert.
Like Las Vegas.
Yes, basically.
So, yeah. So Steve eventually zeroes in on a target, though.
Oh, yeah, he does. The goddess, as he says.
So, yeah, him and Brandon go out to get more booze, because that's what this situation needs.
Yeah.
And
pile more booze on top of it. And the entire time, he's talking about how Valerie wants to fuck him and how it's starting to sound like a good idea the more and more drunk he gets.
Right. Well, I mean, it's got to sound like a good idea at least partially all the time. I mean, she's pretty hot.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is weird if they grew up together.
And he's starting to hallucinate his parents, by the way.
What the fuck? Yeah, like at first he was really drunk, so it was kind of understandable, but the next time
he sees his parents in a mirror.
Yeah, the next time he hallucinates them, he's not drunk.
And each time they're telling him, don't fuck Valerie, apparently.
Yeah. Like, you know, she looks up to you and stuff. Like what?
She goes down and, looks up at him.
I don't understand where we're supposed to get that she looks up to him.
I don't know. I've never gotten that feeling.
No.
They don't feel like they've known each other all their lives.
But they have.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, there's video evidence at the end of the episode. Which I think is hilarious about this is Brenda was not in the home movie from when they were little kids.
Brenda was visiting a daycare in Paris at the time.
Right? It's like, what the fuck? You can't even throw a little girl in there and call her Brenda?
Right, no. She's banned. We will never name her.
So, yeah, Valerie's all sorts of wanting to get with Brandon as per usual. Mm-hmm. And he's starting to think about it.
Yeah.
And the end of...
Well, you were talking about they would go to the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
And he sees this woman. This goddess who can't pump gas because she just did her nails.
Yeah, like
why are you at a gas station?
Why were you driving?
Exactly.
Like, wait 10 more minutes.
How are you going to go to the bathroom?
So, yeah, Steve pumps her gas. He's like, can I do that to you? I mean, for you.
And then, well, she's also equally ribald because he's standing there and she's like, are you going to just stand there with that hose or are you going to stick it into my nozzle?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
it was like Letters from Penthouse was cringing at how horrible these lines were.
So they end up taking off together, though. He leaves Brandon and goes off with this chick.
Yeah, starts making out. He's like, I'm going to fuck this woman. His dad had set it. We'll get back to the other storyline, but his dad had set him up with this woman.
Oh, yeah, I
and
about her.
He is skeptical of his dad's motives because apparently his dad's tried to set him up before with women, but always for his own benefit and not for Steve's benefit. So he wants to kind of reject this other woman. So he's going with the goddess or whatever. And yeah, they start making out.
They start making out. Mm-hmm. And he comes up with a handful of fake booby.
Yeah. And he's like, what is this? It's big silicone. And he's like, and all of a sudden her voice drops and she goes, like you didn't know. It was so funny too because the actress is clearly a woman.
Yeah.
That's not a guy.
No.
I wouldn't think.
I mean, I
if
guess
that's a guy,
possible.
Fucking bravo, sir. But I don't think that's a guy. And the line, like you didn't know, sounded ADR'd.
Yeah.
She's laying against the car, so you can't really see her lips that much. Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure if they moved. And it did not sound, you can tell ADR audio. So they just got a dude to be like, they got one of the crew members.
Yeah.
Be like, just say this line, like you didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
And so he's like, and he
literally screams. It was pretty funny.
It was hilarious.
And, like, I don't think a dude could have that nice of a body as a woman. Like, he had the fake breasts fine, but, like, you can't fake hips like that.
Right.
So,
those hips won't lie.
Right? Childbearing hips.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, Steve's all wronged, but then he decides to go after the chickie that his dad wants him to be with because, the other one was a man.
Exactly. How would you like that? Well, your second choice because the first one was a man.
Right. So, okay. So, Brandon and Valerie.
We want to finish the Brandon Valerie storyline first.
Finish it, I guess. I guess I've been trying to go in chronological order, but that's not working.
Well, no. See, the thing is this episode is so serpentine. This is maybe the best they've done it of weaving the plots actually together. So it is kind of difficult to go storyline by storyline. I think chronological is fine.
But yeah, Brandon and Valerie. First of all, they were.
If we're going to do that, though, I want to back up a little bit and clarify about the woman that Rush Sanders wants to set him up with.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, so he's like, I got a blind date for you, and Steve's like, oh, look at all the eye candy. I don't want a blind date. But she turns out to be attractive, as Brandon puts it, fine.
Yeah, that was funny.
This is before he's drunk.
Yeah.
And he says, from where I'm looking, she seems fine. And he says it exactly like that. Yeah. And I was like, that is a bold acting choice.
He cannot pull that word off.
No, I mean, I sounded 10 times cooler than he did say it.
Right. It was bad.
I'm sorry, I tried to say it as bad as he did, but even I can't stoop to that level. I mean, he might, I think he became so white in that moment, I think he became translucent.
Right.
But anyway, so it turns out that they have some business deal, her dad and his dad, and he's like, business deal. This is what I was afraid of. Mm-hmm. And now he doesn't want to be with her.
Ridiculous.
But it turns out the business deal is merely a not-for-profit thing, and Rush is like, I don't give a fuck if we do this deal or not, because he clearly doesn't care about charities.
Right. So, yeah. So do you think that he's going to keep dating her beyond this? We'll see. I mean, I wouldn't have thought the last one would have lasted, but she did.
Yeah.
What was her name? Cassandra?
I don't know. It was Cary Grant and Diane Cannon's daughter.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but yeah.
So we were at, I think you were wanting to talk about Brandon and Valerie.
Yeah, so she tells him to come get in the hot tub with her. They're the only people that are left at this big house because everybody else is at some event they're not invited to because they don't technically belong there.
Right.
Although, and I guess Claire and David just hadn't shown up yet. Mm-hmm. So he's like, all right, I'm going to get in the pool, and he's all drunk. And he spends so long talking to his hallucination of his parents that she comes looking for him.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, drinking should not do that to a person.
Cause hallucinations?
Yeah.
You're correct.
Especially, I mean, it's not like he's like an alcoholic.
No. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that he might have like some sort of like manic depression or schizophrenia or something.
Right?
Like that.
He's having some kind of mental break because his parents left and he's freaking out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so he's talking to them about it and they're telling him, no, don't be with her. And then she catches him talking to himself.
Mm-hmm. Who are you talking to? The man in the mirror.
Right. They finally go get in the hot tub and then everybody comes back in this weird conga line singing "We're getting in the hot tub." What in the actual fuck was that?
I don't know. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Like, that would not happen in real life. And
a conga line of fraternity and sorority people screaming, keep the hot tub running, we're getting in the hot tub, or whatever they were saying.
but they weren't just screaming it, they were like chanting it over and over.
Yeah. In a conga line.
It was so fucked up. I thought it should have been one of his hallucinations.
It was like pink elephants on parade in Dumbo or whatever.
So they were thwarted. Nothing occurred at that point.
No.
And then the next day, Brandon was all hungover, and Steve brought.
And that's when David came to him.
Yeah. So did they drive all night? Like, I don't know.
I guess. Yeah.
So Steve though had brought him. I thought this was so nice, like a tray full of different hangover cures. Like, he's a good friend. Mm-hmm. And at first he's, trying to cure his hangover. Then David tells him he thinks Kelly's a lesbian, that she was dating that chick. And he's like, I want a beer. And he gets drunk again.
Yeah. Lovely. Spends a drunken weekend.
He had been at the political event the night before and got kicked out by Steve's dad because he was so drunk and
he was talking shit about Sonny Bono.
Yeah, he was being really rude. It was worse than when Dylan showed up at that one event.
Yes. And then that's when he saw Valerie in the hot tub.
Yeah.
And he got kicked out of there.
So now he's going to get all fucked up again. And Valerie decides they need to get out of this situation so she can get him alone.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, how about I get us a hotel room and you come stay? It's a 2-room suite, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Kelly shows up. So that's fun.
Well, if we're going in chronological order, then we got to talk about Kelly and the lesbian.
Oh, yeah. Kelly and the lesbian. So Kelly tells her she does not want a relationship.
Correct.
And she's like, it's something you got to try to know.
Yeah, she's pulling out all the stops. She's really angling.
Yeah.
She's like, but you're never going to know. It's like, if you never ate chocolate ice cream, if you never had that hit your tongue,
right,
you wouldn't know. Maybe you'll like it. You don't know.
Well, she wasn't quite that smooth. But Kelly's just like, no, I know. So she blows her off.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I've never had a cock in my mouth, but I'm 95% sure I wouldn't like it. Like, I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't be about that.
Right.
I don't think I need to try it to know.
Yeah, I think that's a thing a person could be sure of.
Yeah, I think you can be sure if you know.
If she thinks about going down on you and is grossed out, that's the end of that.
Yeah, probably.
So
I guess she could always do the chasing Amy thing, you know.
Ew.
She waved her hand after it was inside too, like wiggled her fingers and waved her hand. Did like jazz hands. That can't be on, right?
No, that cannot be. That's so gross.
Oh my goodness.
So
she gets rejected. I mean, that's pretty much all it comes to. Is like she's staying one night and then she's going up north, back to near where she lives, and she's like, I don't have to go north. I could always stay with you in your bedroom.
Right, and Kelly's like, yeah, no, but you do.
But yeah, she basically blows her off.
So then the next day she goes up to Palm Springs.
And walks in on Brandon, having just the most fun prank ever imaginable.
They're doing fucking prank.
They're doing the jerky voice. He calls what's he call? He calls a sperm bank, I think, or a prostate office.
Yeah, a urologist.
And he says, "I'm Richard Inya, I think."
Yeah, something like that.
Dix Inya. That's what he is. But anyway, so they're all like laughing and stuff like that. And Kelly walks up and she's like, real nice or whatever. And he's like, oh, you don't approve of what what the guys are doing? Oh, you don't like guys anymore, do you?
Yeah.
You prefer girls. And she's like, ooh. She goes, who told you, Claire or David?
And
he doesn't say.
No. So
but it was David.
That's a very unpleasant exchange. And then Valerie just happens to drive by in her little golf cart.
Right.
Hey, let's go to my 2-room suites.
Yeah. I'm here to the rescue.
Yeah, so he just hops on and drives away with her, and Kelly's just like, whatever. Like, Kelly's kind of pissed. Kelly keeps talking about how, like, just because she didn't want to marry him and move in with him doesn't mean she doesn't want a relationship. And that doesn't make a lot of sense based on the way the last episode ended.
It wasn't the spirit of the last episode. She said, I'm choosing me.
Yeah.
What does that mean? If you're not choosing... Like, she didn't say, I'm choosing Brandon, but I don't want to get engaged and I don't want to move in with you.
Right.
What she said is, I'm choosing me. I'm rejecting the two of you.
Yes. I think maybe she was trying to, like, save Dylan's face or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, she did it wrong if that was her intent.
I like how they bring up the whole we're soulmate storyline and then it gets dropped immediately. Because Dylan thinks that they're soulmates and everything. And it seemed like the show was hinting at they were soulmates, they should end up together, but they drop it almost instantly.
Well, I mean, it was one episode ago, so I wouldn't say they necessarily dropped it. It could certainly come back.
We'll see. I don't think
just because she doesn't think they're soulmates doesn't mean he doesn't still think it.
I don't think it's coming back.
I mean, it's still part of his movie too, which is another big thing that's going on in this episode.
Oh, we'll get to that. That almost has to be saved for last.
It does,
but yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm trying to remember how it is that Brandon ends up in Valerie's car and she's waiting for him.
What?
Valerie is waiting for Brandon in their hotel.
Uh-huh.
And he's driving her car somewhere.
He went to go get something. I don't remember what.
Yeah. And
she's like, he went to go get something, and she's like, you can take my car. I think he went to a bar to think. Because that's where he had his second hallucination.
Yeah. So, and do you think he was drunk? Or at least drinking then?
I think he was drinking, yeah.
So, I mean...
Not drunk, though.
I don't know. He gets pulled over on the way back.
Right.
And the cop asks if he's been drinking, and he says no.
He lies.
And then thinks better of it and says, well, I had a couple of beers like 12 hours ago. And the guy's like, oh, drinking in the morning?
Right.
And then he said, it's my friend's car because he asked for license and registration. He's looking for the registration, tips down the visor, and into his lap falls a joint.
Yeah. Why he's looking under the visor for the registration as opposed to the glove box.
He's stupid. So he gets taken into police custody because of Valerie's joints.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm surprised that he didn't get any charges or any, like he had been drinking. So like
he claims that he tested, like I guess they took his blood.
Yeah, he said. Well, he said they did a drug test. I don't know if it was blood or urine or how they do that, but
right. Oh yeah, I guess it could have been urine. But he said like, if I'd had it in my system or whatever. But I guess he was able to successfully argue that it's not his car. They probably looked at the registration and realized, hey, he's not tested positive. It's not him.
Mm. So, yeah. So they let him
Seems
go.
like that car would be impounded, though.
For sure.
But it wasn't.
No. So they let him go. He wakes Valerie up in the middle of the night when he gets out of jail.
She's like, I waited up for you till 4 a.m, you motherfucker.
And he's like, I was in jail because of your fucking stash.
Yeah.
Or because of your fucking, weed or whatever. And then he grabs her stash, which is just sitting on the bedside table.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's normal and would be.
Right.
And flushes it down
Just
the toilet.
a big mound of pot.
Yeah. Hey, my stash. Whatever. I don't think it would go that way either.
No. Plus, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah. You don't do that to somebody.
Valerie was like, no one told you to touch the visor. What the fuck?
So, yeah, he's kind of pissed off at her. She's kind of pissed off at him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm going to find my own way home.
Yeah, so he takes a bus.
There's like plenty of time to think on the bus.
And you know what happens when two characters are pissed off at each other?
What?
She comes back to the house. They're both in the house. He's watching the home movies of them as children.
Yeah. Again, at a birthday party without Brenda.
Which apparently turns him on.
She
sits down. He says, hey, house is sold. Our house has been sold to some Hong Kongian couple, ironically. Some couple from Hong Kong came. It was an exchange program, apparently.
Right. And, it's all fast tracked, so they have 2 weeks to get out.
Yeah. And she's like, a lot can happen in 2 weeks.
So he just reaches over and grabs her and kisses her. Like...
It's everything you've ever wanted.
At first, I thought he was going to be like, oh, it's like kissing my sister. I thought that was because of, like, the way the hallucinations were going. He's watching the video of them as kids. That was not a sister kiss. That was a hell of a kiss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're definitely having sex.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, okay, what do you want to do now? Dylan or Donna and David? Or Donna and Ray?
Oh. Whew, I don't know which way you want to go. What should we end on? I guess let's do Ray and Donna, and then we can end on a somewhat happier note, I guess.
Okay, so Donna gets Ray. She forgives him when he sings to her, but she says, but you got to come with me this weekend. And he doesn't want to, obviously, because he never wants to be around
Because
anybody.
he fucking hates rich people and everything they stand for.
Yeah, so, like, why date a rich girl?
I don't know, especially one that's not putting out.
Right. What is going on, Ray? Anyway, he goes with her, and he's got to stay at the house with the fraternity boys.
Yeah, the kegs.
Like, he doesn't get along with those people.
See, they are shit. They are, like, she's with all the girls.
Yeah.
That must be what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a good situation. He's pissed off the whole time. He doesn't want to be around her mother. Mm-hmm. But when he is around her mother, they bond.
They do, because he's all pissed off that she's in a bikini in a pool, like...
Yeah.
Like a person.
Playing volleyball.
Right. And she's like, oh, the mom's like, and he's like, she says something like, I don't approve of the way that she dresses or whatever. And he's like, well, you better sit down, Miss Martin, because we actually agree on something.
Yeah,
I don't like the provocative way she dresses either.
She's like, I've been trying for years to get her to, dress better. Maybe you could do something.
Yeah, if you could somehow exhibit some control and command over her life and maybe, cut her off from her friends and make her do everything that you say and make her feel as if she has no escape, that'd be great, right?
Yeah, ladies, big red flag from a dude is if they try to tell you how to dress. So watch out for
dress. Where you can and can't go,
who you can hang out with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All you young ladies out there, if you ever find yourself thinking, I guess I can't wear this because my my boyfriend wouldn't like it. That's not the one for you.
So next time we see Donna, she's wearing a very high cut, not flattering at all dress.
And the mom's like, hey, if that's your doing, I thank you.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to her now.
And then he's talking about, she's like, what can we do that would make this weekend more fun for you? So he says, I want to go horseback riding.
Yeah, he's a big country boy.
So
he wants to go horseback riding with Dean Martin in Palm Springs.
So they go horseback riding for an hour, which seems like a decent amount of time to ride horses. I don't know.
I guess they went an hour there. They've got to be going about an hour back, right?
Right, you would think. But he's mad, doesn't want to turn around yet. She's like, but my mom's speech is coming up and I'm going to miss it.
I only get an hour of your precious time.
Yeah, he whines like a little bitch.
Yeah, well, he is.
And so then they show up late to her mother's thing, like for the very, very end of it.
And she's all pissed off because she's like, hey, I'm talking about family up there and my own family's not here. That makes me look like a fucking dick. And Ray's like, oh, it was my fault. I lost track of time. She's like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, Ray, but my daughter's always been a fuck up.
So then him and Donna are arguing. Mm-hmm. And as we're watching the argument, I had a bad feeling because they start going up the stairs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's no reason for them to be on these stairs arguing unless they're going to do something with the stairs.
It's the pushing stairs. Remember?
Yeah. So all of a sudden,
that's what Zod's gonna find instead of pushing stairs.
He does first. He pushes her to the edge of the where the what do you call it? The
landing?
Not the landing.
The lamp.
He pushes her up against
the precipice.
Fuck.
The railing.
Yes, thank you. And she's like, ow, you're hurting me. And she tries to get away from him by running away. And he grabs and pulls her back to him and throws her down the stairs, which I'm sure...
Ragdolls her down the stairs.
He's like, it was an accident. I'm sure it was an accident that she fell down the stairs.
You're still being physical with her.
Yeah, he was manhandling her and hurting her and not letting her get away from him.
Right.
So, sorry, it's still on you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he didn't fucking push her down the stairs like he was trying to kill her.
Right.
But it's still his fault.
Yeah. Agreed.
And Valerie
sees it all.
The whole thing she sees out of the window.
Yeah, she pulls a Claire and she's watching the scene from a window. Mrs. Kravitz.
She goes...
Arthur!
But yeah, she goes running out there. She's like, Donna, oh my gosh, are you okay? Let me help. And she's like... Go call the hotel doctor. And he's like, I'm staying with her.
Her abuser says,
I'll stay with her.
No, you leave me alone with her.
Yeah.
You go get the doctor.
That was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So, and then he's just like, I didn't mean to. Oh, shut up, you fucking asshole. So she ended up spraining her arm. They thought it might be broken. Still, I'm sure very painful. It's all in a cat, in a sling and stuff. She looks like she hates him.
Oh, yeah.
She should hate him.
Oh, yeah.
And she never gets to be alone with him. Because she's hurt. Her mom's around, people around, and she doesn't want to tell anybody. Which, I kind of get.
Kelly, sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
I was just going to say, Kelly comes to the hospital, and she's like, Donna's in the other room, and she's like, oh, what happened? He's like, oh, she fell down the stairs, and she was crying in pain, like maybe she broke her arm or whatever. And they were like, then Donna comes out and she's like, oh, it was just sprained. I'll be fine. She looks cowed. She acts like it. Actually, I have to say, Tori Spelling's acting has never been better. Because she really does seem like an abused, shut down person. She does a really good job. Her personality is gone as Donna Martin and replaced by, someone trying to process what the fuck has happened and everything.
Yeah.
But she comes out and she's like, Kelly's like, oh, what happened? And she goes, did Ray tell you what happened? And the way she says it, you can tell she's not sure if she should tell people. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't know if Ray's admitting it. So she wants to know what's going on. And Kelly's like, yeah, she said you fell down the stairs, you clumsy little klutz. And she's like, yes, I fell.
And Kelly's like, oh, he was so worried about you. You can tell how much he loves you and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Donna just looks like, yeah, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But when she is finally alone with him.
Yeah, because her mom goes to get ice or something like that, and she says, get away from me.
And she said that to him when they were alone and she was on the ground, too. So it's like, she's trying to tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she doesn't just allow herself to be abused.
I don't remember exactly how they left off. Do you?
She said, he basically said, I love you.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't, he's pulled the playbook that his mom said the dad did.
And she's like, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I think it left on a somewhat ambiguous note, but I think they're going to be together.
Yeah.
I think next season will start with her being abused, and then they're going to use that to touch on abuse and probably have one of those awkward after episode cutaways where they're like, we've had a lot of fun here tonight with 90210, but abuse is never a laughing matter, and, give up phone number.
Donna. First she almost gets raped, now she's being abused. What's up with this character? Like, she's going through a lot.
I don't know.
So, yeah, so we'll see where that goes, but he fucking threw her down the stairs by accident.
Yeah, the abuse that started in San Francisco has continued.
Mm-hmm.
Not only verbal and emotional, but also actually physical now, too.
I'm kind of afraid he's going to end up raping her, too. Like, they're always, like, fooling around, then he gets mad. Like,
because he has been emotionally abusing her for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do you don't have time for me, and I'm not number one.
You never show me you love me.
Right.
Yeah. And then, finally, we have Dylan.
Dylan's going to go to Maui to spend some time with his mom and his sister.
And he's very excited about it.
Yeah, until a guy says, hey, why don't you... you can ride in a fucking kayak or whatever it is.
No, paragliding.
Paragliding, that's what it is.
Yeah, so for the movie, they got somebody interested in doing the paragliding thing for their movie, and they're going to let Dylan try it out.
He wrote a paragliding chase scene.
Yeah.
This sounds like the shittiest movie I've ever heard.
It really does.
Past life regressions, and there's a paragliding chase scene in it.
But he decides to cancel his trip. This is the second big trip he's canceled.
Yeah.
So he can go paragliding.
I assume because they're going on summer break that he'll actually go to Hawaii, though, just later.
I hope so. And then they get, some dude that says he's going to finance the movie if they put his girlfriend in as the lead.
Yeah. I'll do your whole movie for you.
But, Dylan wants to know, how does he have all this money?
And why does he have bodyguards?
Yeah.
They go to stay at his house. Him and his writer buddy go to stay at this guy's house and go over the script with him, meet the wife or the girlfriend or whatever she is, and talk about things. And he's got bodyguards. And Dylan's like, "What does he do that he needs bodyguards?" He's like, "I don't know." He's a fucking mobster.
Yeah, he's
Idiot.
like, is he connected? So
then Dylan tries to call Christine Petitz, the FBI agent that he knows, while on the grounds of the person that he suspects apparently might have had something to do with his father's murder. I don't know where he gets that from.
Well, I don't know that he suspected that. I think he just suspected he was a mobster.
Right.
And he wanted to know if he was okay to deal with, basically.
But he has no patience. He has to do it while he's there.
Yeah.
And they hear him.
Yep. They picked him up on the scanner. I don't know how that works, but I don't really get how those car phones work either.
Yeah, who knows? So they take him to one of Northern California's biggest attractions that no one really knows about, the little cable car things that go through the mountains.
Yeah. Which looks fucking frightening.
Tramway or something like that? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, they're talking about, we're going to check this out for one of the movie scenes again. And then they just stop it halfway up.
Well, all the way up. But halfway through.
Yeah.
At the apex of the ride.
They have his mouth fucking taped shut. They open the doors and hang him out.
And he's like, hey, we know who you called, you motherfucker.
Right.
Your little friend Christine Pettit. Why'd you call her? Because you think that I had something to do with your dad's murder? And he's like shaking his head, no. And he's like, well, I didn't. I didn't kill your dad. I know who did. You want me to tell you? And he's like, no. And I'm thinking like, I would, yes.
I don't think he wants him to tell him because he thinks that means he'll have to kill him. Like, I tell you, but I gotta kill you. I think he thinks it's one of those things since, he's hanging out of a fucking tram.
What does this guy care? Unless it's like a friend of his that killed
Maybe
Jack
it
McKinney.
is.
But anyway, so it's all very cryptic. So he's like, well, I'll tell you, the FBI knows. They've known from the very beginning who did it. Mm-hmm. And he's saying no to everything. And he's like, yeah, it's good. Good boy.
Yeah. So then they pull him back in and he's like, all right, let's make a movie. And like hugging him and shit. I'm like, what in the fuck? Mobsters are fucked up people. Like based on this. Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Don't you?
Well, I mean, there were some clues along the way. The indiscriminate murder, the drug trade.
Yeah.
The abuse of women and rape.
So, yeah. So
fucking sociopaths. Except for the mobsters that live by us. You guys are cool.
Dylan's like, I'm not going to be involved with this movie. You go for it, but I'm not going to be involved with this now.
Yep.
And then we end with him fucking pulling out a gun and talking about he's going to go after his father's killer.
Well,
how does he know?
Christine Pettit's like her voice is on the answering machine being like, yeah, Dylan, don't deal with these people. They're super dangerous and everything. But, don't go doing anything rash or anything. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Christine, I'm gonna do it. He's like, he's loading up his gun. He's gonna fucking go and kill him.
But that mobster or who he thinks killed his dad?
Who knows? I don't know. I think he might as well just go into the middle of the square and start shooting people, hoping that one of them is the person that killed his father.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
This dad that he was fucking estranged from for so many years, and now he's got to avenge his death.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's all fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
So they're on summer break, but we're not because we're still watching it on tape.
That's right. We'll now be in season 6.
Yeah.
So we're going to be powering forward with it.
Woohoo.
Hopefully one day we catch up to actual time.
We'll see. We'll see if it happens.
But anyway, that is the episode. Big packed episode this week, Carol.
Very much.
All right, well, why don't you tell the people what they can do, and then we'll get the hell out of here.
So go ahead and write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com and tell your friends.
All right, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.